is the 10 to 1 podcast with your host, Brad Oman, featuring Ben Konowitz and Nate Loucks. And here's the podcast.
Yeah.
I can be a hero, baby.
When do I become a
what?
repertory player? When do I get to become on the main cast? I don't want to be featuring.
I asked this already.
I know, but I don't want to. I'm over it.
I mean, well, so as far if we follow the rules of SNL, like
2 years.
yeah, 2 or 3 years, right?
I can be
I'm just
your
saying-
hero, baby.
Yeah, no, isn't that great?
Wait,
That's
but why are you singing it? It's not like Enrique Iglesias was on, or
I had it in my head, and I let it out, and I gave it as a gift to our listeners. Okay?
it's not that kind of show.
Season 47, episode 12, guys. This is our 10th episode of this podcast, though. I want you guys to know, I love you guys.
I love you too.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, that's so nice.
So nice.
First hosting gig for Willem Dafoe, who scares me half the time.
I will admit, he is terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen almost all of his movies. I'm sure he's fantastic.
I guarantee you haven't seen almost all of it.
Well, you know what? It's all the big ones, right? Spider-Man.
you say that 'cause
Spider-Man 2, and the third was Spider-Man.
I went through his filmography on Wikipedia. I'm like, I don't think I've seen 90%
I
of these.
I bet you've seen maybe at most 20% of Willem
I've
Dafoe's
seen
movies.
Speed
Honestly.
2, Cruise Control.
Have you seen that? I didn't know
Of
they made
course. Yes.
Speed 2.
Yeah.
Why didn't Keanu star in
Because he was
that?
smarter than Sandra Bullock back then. Nowadays, I don't know. But back then,
No,
Sandra was
Keanu's-
like,
he's golden. Keanu's golden. He can do no wrong.
Willem Dafoe terrifies me in every sketch of
He's
this show.
got wild eyes.
It's insane.
Just
His
Wild
voice.
eyes.
It's his voice for me.
it's his
Wow.
voice. It's his like
Everything.
the angles that he can make with his facial expressions. It's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's nuts, man. I love him.
He's crazy. I love him.
I know. It was a fun episode, though.
Hey, I got another fact for you guys that I
Yeah.
looked up. With this episode, Michael Che moves into second place, surpassing Seth Meyers for most Weekend Update segments hosted, behind only Colin Jost. Congratulations to Michael Che on that honor. Seth Meyers, you suck.
Whoa. Jeez. And so Michael Che will never surpass Colin Jost as long as they are co-anchors.
Yeah, as long as they're co-anchors, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. Do you guys remember a time where Colin Jost was hosting that Michael Che wasn't?
They've always done it
Yeah,
together.
they were
right?
in together, haven't they?
Yeah, but apparently Colin Jost has a couple more episodes under him. So
Oh.
I don't know if
Did Colin do it by himself for a little
Wait,
while?
like on the show or on Weekend Update?
on Weekend Update.
Huh. Maybe, yeah. Michael J must have been missing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
But he's got a couple more episodes under him. So
Huh.
yeah. Yeah, so Willem Dafoe.
Maybe they counted some of those like Thursday night Weekend Update like
No,
during
because
the elections?
they did it together.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you know what? Didn't Colin do it with Cecily for a little bit?
I think you're right when they were transitioning.
Yeah, because Cecily did it for a little while, and
Just a
then
couple episodes.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
she decided she didn't want to do it.
We are so good at this show.
This is the kind of content you pay for.
Thanks for
Yeah, we don't want to make sure that we know this stuff before we do the episode. We want to try and figure it out and keep you guessing on the air.
Work it out in person.
A lot of times, completely wrong information.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll say, you know what, we're going to find that out, and we won't follow up on
Yeah,
it.
we do not
never
follow up.
do.
Yeah.
No.
We're the worst.
No,
Yeah.
no. This is the 10 to 1, not the 10 to following up.
Yeah, you guys got Google. Not your fucking dad.
So, what did you guys think of the host? Did you love him?
Well, that's too soon.
Okay, no? Okay, you want to do that at the end.
Nate forgets a lot of times
Yeah,
the structure of the
Nate
show.
is
No.
He's
Stop.
2 beers in
Stop
already.
it. I'm a beer and a half. You know that. That's my limit. A beer and a half.
Okay.
But here's the thing: is we could still talk. Did you like the host before the end of reviewing the host? Right?
He's retconning
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I don't like this.
no. We don't ever talk about the host this
it.
soon, like in that fashion. We start off where we always start off with the cold open.
And we are
disinformation.
allowed to say like overall we thought it was a whatever episode, but like I'm not going to say
No,
that.
apparently you can't.
I'm not gonna say it.
Apparently you can't. You can't say anything.
The
about
Russian
Willem Dafoe.
disinformation cold open.
Written by Colin Jost and Ben Silva. Go ahead. talk. I don't care.
So it seems like they're trying
too hard to do political satire.
Thank you.
And also making the sketch way too long again.
So they're doing the thing where they're like, oh, let's take the jar of everything that happened this week that we wrote down and put in the mason jar and spill it onto the table and grab a handful and just like, we're going to shoehorn every topical thing in here right now.
And then somebody else was like, hey, I found the John Mulaney Uncle Meme sketch lying around. Do you think we can remix it in and do some of it here?
Very strange.
It's just not very funny, and it's too bad because... And do you think part of it is because they went so hard at Trump when he was president? They're like, well, we got to do political satire under Biden as well because that's who we are. But I just don't. I don't think it's very good. Like,
I think the problem.
I don't think it's as funny because Biden's not Trump. You know,
we've gotten to a point where my problem with the political satire during the Trump years was that what was happening in real life was so ridiculous already by itself that it was hard to lampoon and somehow make funny when it was such a devastating nightmare. Now we've gone to the opposite end of the spectrum where everything that's happening in government is so absolutely boring, like it should be, that there's nothing fun to really do with it. And when you try to make fun of it, it feels desperate, you know? And so like they're really digging in and be like, oh, how can we make fun of something that didn't really happen this week that, you know, isn't easily able to be parodied?
They've done it though. Like they've had success. Like you can do it in a different way. The meme stuff just was so lazy in my opinion. It just was so...
It always works.
Jordan, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
It always works better when they do political satire that isn't either in a political office or a press conference. I love when they mix it up and do some kind of game show format or like a completely off the wall idea that mixes in the political satire.
I think you're right.
Take the politics somewhere else. Don't bring me to the politics. That's all I'm saying.
But this had a lot of cast members. It had 13 cast members.
Of course,
it did. Everyone got their say in a Russian accent, even though they're all from different parts of Russia.
The part that I thought was fairly amusing, that was better than the regular meme stuff, was I thought the TikTok stuff worked pretty decently.
I liked the one throwaway joke that they had about that really being Aaron Rodgers. For some reason, I didn't see that coming.
Right.
So when they said, no, that really is Aaron Rodgers, that made me chuckle. But other than that, there wasn't too much going on there.
Yeah, I just didn't find it very funny. I mean, there was a couple little laughs. Again, James Austin Johnson does a decent Biden. He's not great, but he did a decent Biden.
Long,
but it was
dumb.
just... I kept on waiting for the part where it was going to get funny, and it never did.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and the thing that frustrates me most about them starting the show like this is all it does is it bolsters the people who are like, man, SNL isn't funny anymore. And it's like, yeah, it seems like that when they start every episode with like one of their most aggressively mediocre sketches.
You know what? I turn SNL off after the first 10 minutes every single time.
I don't blame you.
It's not good anymore. Well, no shit.
Honestly, I can't say when the last episode was, with the best sketch being the opening sketch. I don't even know when that was. So
yeah,
it would.
I'd have to go back
really look back.
Yeah,
it would be it's a long time.
Yeah. So and there have been some great opening sketches in the history of SNL.
Of course, yeah.
Nothing this year.
I'm sure they did the Rock Obama as the cold open one time, and that probably would have slayed because that's a great
I don't know if that
way
was
to do that
or not, but yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna do it, make it crazy and outlandish like that. Don't just do your typical. They're doing monologue jokes.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
Hey, you hear about this? It's a TikTok about Russia.
Is that your Jay Leno?
A little bit.
All right.
Screw you.
The monologue. What'd you guys think?
I mean, here's where I say I like Willem Dafoe, and I think that it was fun. It wasn't super memorable, but I think the joke that it ended on was great. The Speed 2 reference.
Yeah, that was good.
That was the best thing and the only good thing in my opinion.
No, that was me.
It was so the Appleton, Wisconsin, folk or whatever.
I didn't even think he sounded like he was from Wisconsin.
So the idea is it was harmless, right? It wasn't supposed to be edgy or anything. No. It was wholesome and cute. Yeah. It was cutesy.
I didn't know he was from Appleton, so I did learn that.
Clearly, as we'll see going through this episode, Willem Dafoe, incredibly talented actor. Not incredibly talented at sketch, and that's fine. But we'll talk about him more. But I will say, suffice to say, for now, the opening monologue really showed you what you were going to get into as far as what he could deliver.
I'm glad you said that, man, because I am such a big Willem Dafoe fan for all the 4 movies I've seen him in. But and there 3 of them are Spider-Mans. However,
And the Boondock Saints.
yeah,
You've seen John Wick.
I have. No, I'm just saying I didn't realize he was in so many films until I looked at his Wikipedia page, and there are, as Brad said, there are probably 100 films that he's done that I've not seen or even barely heard of. But anyway, I like him so much, and I really wanted to like him. I don't think he's a good sketch comic.
No, and again, I do like that SNL still brings people like Willem Dafoe in, where he's clearly riding high off the Spider-Man stuff. And
you also want to see actors like that have a little fun, even if they're not particularly great sketch. It's funny to see him doing weird stuff.
He certainly went out of his body on some of these sketches.
And the getting outside of your comfort zone and doing something silly like that, especially he's not a spring chicken, right? The dude's probably in his late 60s, early 70s. I mean, he's an older guy, right?
60s, yeah.
Good for him. I think that part's great that they are still, throwing themselves out there and willing to go for it. You're still allowed to judge the level of talent that he had, and they didn't have a lot in sketch comedy. Again, we watched the dress rehearsal sketch, which was one of the we'll get into that too.
Why are you getting into that right now?
Because it just goes to show that, I can see why that was cut for time. It was bad. His timing and everything was off. But it's to be expected, man. He's not a sketch comedy performer.
Yeah, and you don't know what his method is. You don't know how he has to prepare for things. So
cute.
Yeah,
the opening was
just
cute.
a nice monologue.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't think it was memorable, but there was nothing wrong with it. So, all right. First sketch was Tenant Meeting, but written by Mikey Day, Allison Gates, and Streeter Seidel. We've said this last time, I think, or maybe 2 times ago. Streeter Seidel is now one of the head writers of SNL. He's got promoted. It had 18 cast members in the sketch.
Of course it did. They are still.
And that was still only
this.
half of them.
I know. Yeah. And I get it. They have to do it. This was one of those sketches for me that was fine until Atari came in.
Why do you not like Aristotle Atari?
No, he's saying it got better.
It was fine until he came in.
Okay.
From him until the end, I loved it.
Okay, got you.
It was fine. And then, man, there was one bright spot. Chris Redd's character saying that was the one bright
Jamarcus?
spot. Yeah, Jamarcus.
I'm Robert.
It's Robert. So he was a bright spot early, but that first half of that sketch, I'd say, was fine. Then when Aristotle Atari comes in, almost every person after that I really enjoyed. I had a really good time with it. Brad, what about you?
Oh, wait. Brad's going to know this, I'm sure, but Jan Krang, played by Aidy Bryant, was in another sketch this season. What was it?
Oh, gosh.
No, this is the second time they've done the Tenet thing, isn't it?
No, this is the first time they've done the Tenet thing, but they did something similar, and she was in it. Jan Krang.
Oh.
I think
she's been in 3 or 4 sketches
Was
total.
it the school board meeting?
That's correct. The Owen Wilson School Board
meeting stuff. Yeah.
Jan Krang,
K rank.
I thought it was familiar, but I was like, maybe it just feels like several other Aidy Bryant characters.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it is very similar. But yes, she has played Jan Krang in I think
funny.
4 different sketches.
Because even Kate McKinnon's short old lady felt like it was from another Aidy and Kate sketch.
And I'm sure it is.
I felt like Kate. Yeah, I feel like Kate McKinnon's spirit animal is an old lady that loves cats.
Of course it is. And I'm here for it. It's fine. Use her that way all the time. It was great.
And Chloe Fineman definitely broke during that part too, with Kate McKinnon being super short.
And the papers.
The papers.
So good.
Yeah. Sarah Sherman's "This Just In." I'm like, whoa, that's mixing characters here. I don't know if you heard her say "This Just In." I'm like, whoa, that's not your.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I do love her loud screaming New York lady.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't live on the. This just in. I don't live on the roof.
Yeah.
So I will not be paying.
I also loved Kyle Mooney and Andrew Dismukes coked up. Yeah.
So I did.
How have they not played brothers before?
True.
Because in this one I was like, whoa, they feel like they're actually brothers.
Yeah, so there's something behind those 2 characters they could do. I think, honestly.
And I think that the Kyle Mooney Beck Bennett thing, the Kyle Mooney Andrew Dismukes, they have a vibe.
I
there.
agree.
I wholeheartedly. I want to see more. Right.
I'll say this. I know this is before Aristotle, but Heidi Gardner plays the role of every mom I was afraid of in high school.
Sure. And so to say that it wasn't that was bad, right? It was fine.
Yep.
But it was over the top.
It got
but
better
man,
after
when Aristotle does the Google Translate, I lost my shit. I was
Yeah.
laughing hard at that.
Yep.
Because he just like, oh, I'm good. I'm think, and like, oh, he's gonna destroy something. Oh man.
But yeah, and like I think too, there's a lot of inside New York jokes here
Oh,
too,
sure.
and like and a lot of it
I
does
thought that as
translate
well.
too. But like, there's clearly some stuff where the audience was losing. I was like, oh, that's something I don't entirely understand.
The James Austin Johnson Verizon FiOS thing.
Yeah.
Did you hear everyone cheering? I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that clearly
That's
has
clearly
been a
something
thing.
that- yeah.
But Melissa Villaseñor got nothing for
Yeah.
her rent thing because it was the laziest joke in the world.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
why include a joke? Like,
Yeah.
you can do something like that, but like, do it better. I don't know. It was just weird.
Oh, $6,000 for a small apartment.
It
Of
was
course,
so-
that's the joke in
And
New
you,
York, right?
that Willem Dafoe already made kind of in his monologue.
yeah,
$200
he
for
did.
the bathtub in the kitchen. I don't know. It was weird.
I actually did enjoy Willem Dafoe's character in there. In that, like, I know of people here in the city we live in that bought real estate 30 years ago, and they're still holding
For
on to
$11
it. Yeah, exactly.
just to be
and
a
they're
pain
still
in the
holding
ass.
on to it, and they're still they're a pain in the butt. Yep.
So I noticed this a couple times in the episode where even the professional sketch comedians, flub their lines and it kind of ruins the joke. So
Yeah.
Alex Moffat again, like steps on his own joke delivery there, where he's
Yeah.
trying to say, I'll throw it in the trash, I'll throw you in the trash. It was this thing, and it killed that joke. And man, I was loving that bit. And then, you hate to see it. You know?
do.
All right, next was a pre-tape. Obviously, it has to be a pre-tape when every cast member was in the sketch before. Pre-tape. Now I'm up.
Oh, one thing I was gonna say too is
Yeah.
I was, because the sketch was so long, I was half hoping and expecting a cast member to come back out as a different character.
Oh, that
which
would
have
be-
been a lot of fun.
See, have you ever seen that before?
They've done it before.
I think
I
I
can't
don't
recall-
remember a sketch, but I think they've done it before.
I don't remember when, but they have done it.
I was
before.
thinking, how many cast members do they have? I know we've talked about this.
It's like 20.
It's 23.
right?
So who wasn't on?
Cecily wasn't in it at all.
Okay, because she's not on the show right
yeah,
now.
she hasn't been around for these 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think
Bowen
she's in
Yang,
Broadway.
Bowen Yang wasn't in
Yeah,
that
that's
sketch.
right.
No, he was in it. He was with Mikey Day.
Yeah, that's right. They were the
Talent show, the gay talent show guys. Yeah. But yeah, I actually think that Cecily was the only one. Was Ego in it?
Yeah, she had the half braided hair.
Oh, that's right.
she's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I
I'm
don't
not
need your
asking for
permission.
permission.
Yeah, that's right. She was the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then-
I think it was only Cecily. And I think
Was Keenan?
yeah, Keenan was the guy
the
who
guy.
was
The guy was
yeah.
like having the ladies over. Man, I think everybody nailed it.
Honestly, I think this is one of those sketches. Probably if we watched it again, we'd find it funnier. Because it's one of those where it probably gets funnier the more you watch it.
Oh, I mean, just Pete Davidson walking in, leaning down, and be like, bad.
Yeah.
It was
How's
that
the rat
was
infestation?
so good. Yeah.
Bad.
So I want more of that. So like, even though it was a longer sketch, right? Short and sweet bits in it. And
Yeah,
that's,
exactly. It
that will
didn't feel long. It didn't overstay its welcome.
Yep.
Like it was. You could tell it was long, but not. It didn't
Yep.
feel like.
I was still there for
Yeah.
it because it was changing
You're
genres
waiting on-
almost.
Yeah, you're waiting on these new characters. What
Yep.
are they going to say?
Exactly.
All right, the next was a pre-tape. Now I'm up. A song written by Dan Bullock, Chris Red, Streeter Seidel, and Kenan Thompson. I loved this.
What?
Oh, it was good.
This
Loved
one didn't work
this.
for me very well,
Oh,
guys.
Oh, no, you're
No.
wrong.
Hey, it was
sorry.
a banger. It's a great little.
So that's the thing. I'm so impressed by the music.
See, that's the thing is, I based on comparing it to other musical sketches they've done, where I feel like the music is so much better. This one didn't feel like it had a good hook to me, and like
I was singing it. Really.
the musical part to me felt lazier than other stuff.
Okay,
And
Drake.
And on top of that, for me, like it was a thing of where like the premise is like, oh, this is so funny because it's true. Everyone deals with these problems when they have trouble sleeping, but it didn't vibe with the musical parody aspect
So,
to me. And
I felt like it had a little bit of a Macklemore kind of like vibe to
So-
it.
I think that what it is I don't really fucking like Macklemore.
$50 for a t-shirt.
He's a dedicated listener to this podcast.
So
I need you to
I will
apologize.
say,
Then you
I will
can
say,
stop listening.
maybe this is because they put it together in a week, right? The idea that they really kind of had to shoehorn in some of the lyrics and it didn't really flow lyrically.
That's what I mean. And
That-
they've done music parodies that are so much better,
Yes.
that feel
So
way
I
smoother.
totally respect that opinion because
I don't know if I agree with that.
there were a
but-
couple times Kenan Thompson had some lines that went on like way too long for how many words they were
and
trying
not
to fit
and
that
not
in,
in
there.
like the comedic way where they do where it's
Right.
intended to
It
be
was supposed
not
to be
rhyming and weird.
quick and clever.
Yeah.
But Ben, as a noted anxiety sufferer, have you not had these nights before where you wake up
So
and like
see, and that's the saving grace because I like the premise so much, and there was enough in there for sure, and the beat was really good, and so I got along with a lot of that. I wish they would have cleaned it up lyrically a little bit. I agree with that, Brad.
I'm sure they can workshop a couple different improvements. I love the premise of it. I love the premise. I thought the song was good. I don't.
When they did the parody of Walking in Memphis,
Yep.
it was literally perfect.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But that's one that's going to go as one of our probably top 10 sketches of the year.
Oh, it has to. But they've got that in the chamber, though. They can do that. They can reach that level. So I'm expecting that because they are who they are.
Yeah, and that's why I wasn't really on board with it. It just didn't work for me, and I just didn't feel like I was caught up in it.
Brad's favorite sketch of the night.
Do you guys feel like Chris Redd has really transitioned this year to be one of the more powerful kind of players, staff members in this cast?
I think he's starting to pop in a similar way that Keenan does, but maybe not as consistently, and not because it's for lack of talent, just because they don't always use Chris Redd in the same way.
I feel like they've tried to start, especially with these pre-tapes, right? He seems to be, finding a place in SNL with the pre-tapes.
Yeah.
He had the one with the car that he couldn't.
Yeah. He's becoming definitely more of a.
He's one of my favorites.
I'll call it what it is. Like if Keenan's the stalwart of the show that's always there, then like Chris Redd is waiting in the wings with the reliability factor.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like you've talked about this before, where Chris Redd's reaction shots a lot of times are things that make us laugh.
Mm-hmm.
He is waiting in the wings to take that kind of mantle over for Keenan. Not maybe the longevity, but the idea that like you can save a sketch with an eye movement. Like Chris Redd has got that in spades.
That tenant meeting sketch beforehand, that Jamarcus bit that he did was one of my favorite things in that. Right, he can do that. That is a really good bit. And like you said, he doesn't have to say that much to do it. And so he's got that kind of Keenan element to it. But I also think with some of these pre-tapes, he's also super creative, and he's been doing some good stuff there. So, all right, next was Dog Show, written by Aidy Bryant. Anna Dresden was back for that as a guest writer. Mike DeCenzo and Tesha Condrit. I don't know if Tesha has written a lot because it's a name I haven't read a lot. So she might be a new writer. Melissa Villaseñor flubbed her lines,
and it felt like she was mad at herself right after. Like it seemed like she shook her head at herself. Like, God damn it!
And you
like,
can see her
finally give me a minute, and I fuck it up so hard.
You can see her shaking her head. I felt so bad for her because it didn't
she
work.
She rarely gets an opportunity,
and it was a good line too. And she messed it up.
She missed the joke on it. And I felt bad.
I did really feel bad for her because she's been on the show for 6 years. And this is
but it happens though.
I know, but I still come on.
No, I'm not mad at her. I feel bad for her.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm like, come on.
She's a talented performer.
I want
she's
you to
done
do
enough
better
to know that she's talented.
Yeah,
but yeah, exactly. She didn't have
just a big old swing and a miss there. But overall, the sketch. So one of the few dog sketches that didn't go awry because of the live animals. Right, the dogs pretty much did what they were supposed to do, which is different than normal.
The only one that almost went off the rails but didn't was
Andrew.
His dog was like kind of like hopping around.
But honestly, that played into it a little bit.
Pigeon the Beagle.
Yeah, he played into it a little bit because of that. That was great. I think that
I actually wish that the dogs would have been.
Well, sure,
because this was the sketch that it should have happened. Yeah,
because the setup of this again. If you have a dog, we've got a puppy. We've got I think he's maybe 9 months old, and he's a jerk.
Someone
like, I get that. I get that. Right,
and not even just like dogs that are jerks. Someone has a dog who is like a real weird dog, like a dog that like they found somewhere and like was an experiment.
Maybe everybody knows a lot of people that have mean cats because that's kind of their shtick.
Yep.
But like you do know that one person like Brad said who just has a fucked up dog.
Yeah,
like, that dog should have
crooked eye. Their tongue's always hanging out.
What, Aunt Becky? Is that dog 19 years old? He's staring at the wall. We should have put him down 2 years ago.
But I felt like there was. I don't know what the jokes were, but I felt like the premise was funny enough. I didn't think they hit the marks on some of them though, and maybe it was just because Melissa missed her thing. I just didn't think
it didn't feel like there was for me the best jokes were them talking about the weird dog traits and them being absurd.
Yeah,
but it wasn't enough to like sustain the sketch to make it overly hilarious.
They went a little too far into weird territory with the whole dynamic between Aidy Bryant and Willem Dafoe.
Yep.
Yeah. It says here we're married.
And
the response wasn't necessary. And it's good.
I didn't really get that, right? Exactly.
Maybe that Willem isn't the best sketch performer, so like the timing it seemed to be the issue with him a lot.
That was the
so I feel like you put that in there along with the dogs aren't really doing much, and I don't know. It's kind of a great premise, lame execution.
You guys, I know, very amateurly, but you guys have done some sketch comedy. No, I say this because you guys have had some experience.
Well, hold on.
This.
We've never done sketch comedy.
Okay, I thought you guys.
No, we did improv, which is worse.
Every comedian will tell you it's worse.
It's way worse.
But you guys do know, though, and you could probably affirm, timing is everything, right?
Of course.
It is
Absolutely.
the difference between a good joke and a bad joke.
And it's
you could say the
difference-
same thing, but if the timing's not there, it just doesn't
It's
work.
truly the difference between a bad joke and a terrible joke.
Yep.
A bad joke and a joke that literally doesn't work, and you're just bombing now.
Yep.
Because you can recover from a bad joke when you can't necessarily recover from horrible timing, and I don't think the sketch really did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also for me, and this is maybe just like a bias on my part, is whenever there's a dog show sketch, because they come around, every now and then, I always find myself comparing it to Best in Show.
Yeah,
because
I
Best in
did the same thing,
Best in
yeah.
Show is a perfect comedy in
It
my
is.
opinion.
Yep, agreed.
And they try to do some stuff here that feels very Best in Show, but it just doesn't work nearly as well.
Listeners, if you haven't seen Christopher Guest's Best in Show,
I will check that out.
oh, you should.
Have you not seen Best in Show?
I don't know that I have.
It's
man.
so great.
Wait, is that the one with who's the
It's
improv
essentially
actor? And
Schitt's Creek in a film. Like it's the
But
Schitt's
better,
Creek,
but
yeah.
better.
Yeah, but well,
and we
I
can
don't
cut
think anything's
we can
better.
cut this part out. It's 25 minutes and 30 seconds if you want to cut this out. But I just want to ask, who's the improv? I mean, Christopher Guest has all these guys that he uses all the time.
Yeah.
Who's the guy with the Basset Hound?
It's Christopher Guest.
That's him.
That's Christopher
okay.
Guest, yeah.
Okay. So I and Catherine O'Hara.
Yep.
Yep.
Eugene Levy.
Usually
Okay.
have-
Fred
all-
Willard as the announcer.
All of those.
Yeah,
Canadian,
it's been 15
SCTV
years.
guys.
But
Mike,
yeah.
Mike McKeon and John Michael.
Michael McKeon.
No, Michael McKeon and John Michael Higgins.
All right, the next was the pre-tape Nugenics. Ben, this is a real product. Do you use Nugenics?
I mean, I can't get hard anymore since I've been 40. So I do use.
You are the oldest of us.
He's not just a customer; he's the president.
Yeah, you're
Yep.
the oldest of the three of us.
It does. It makes a very machine-like sound.
He's been using it so long that he uses old Genix now.
I was gonna send you this. Do you guys know this is a real product?
Oh, of course.
With
Yeah.
Frank Thomas.
Okay, oh, of course.
Well, because if you've ever,
Yeah, whoa. I want you to unpack that a little bit.
here's the thing: I stay up late enough to see these commercials that come on
okay,
Comedy
okay.
Central at like midnight,
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning, and that's all there is Nugenics commercials, and they all legitimately feature retired athletes who have reached that point in their life where they have erectile dysfunction, and they want to make the men out there who feeling insecure about it. Like, no, look, I'm a man.
Frank Thomas's dick doesn't work either. What's that, Doug Flutie? Like, it's so weird, but also
Remember
pretty spot
Flutie
on.
Flakes?
I don't.
Remember Flutie Flakes?
I don't.
Not.
It's a thing.
No.
So so this is a real. If you didn't know this, it's
a real problem.
This is a real. No, this is like I actually went back and watched some of the ones on YouTube
Yeah.
with Frank Thomas, like the real, and they're the most cheesy things.
Yeah, it's a
you know?
straight up infomercial style commercial.
Very well. Almost the real ones are worse than the satire that they did on SNL.
By far and away, the best part of this sketch is Willem Dafoe turning to the woman and saying, "Sir Willem Dafoe," with a British accent, and then winking at the dude. Like, that's great comedy. I loved that.
But yeah, I didn't love this sketch until their dick started making machine sounds. And
So like the last 10 seconds.
and then I was like, okay, this is really funny. And I especially loved it. And I wish they'd gotten a better shot of this. But Willem Dafoe's crazy fucking face.
And then Melissa VSCR being like, "It's so loud."
Oh, by the way, this was written by Michael Che and Will Steven, which goes to my theory that Michael Che, in any sketch he writes, is going to put some kind of sports analogy or sports satire in there. 'Cause
He does
almost
love to do
everyone,
that.
Yep, ESPN, he's always on it.
Yeah, I'm sure these commercials are all over ESPN late at night too. So
Love-
I'm sure he was watching it. and
yeah.
thought,
Loved watching Kyle Mooney not play the husband, which is normally who he would
Oh,
play.
yeah.
Him being an
The-
actual
the
like manly,
emasculated husband.
Yeah.
I liked that a lot. It was good.
Yeah, it was fine. I think, like I said, it probably wouldn't have been that funny, especially if you didn't know that this was a real product.
I think that this is one of the sketches, not the only one, but this is one of the main sketch that Willem Dafoe being in it made it even better than it would have been.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And like you said, the whole part, I'm not a sir, and then
Oh
later,
God,
you know,
the good callback there. Yeah, that
it
was
a-
really good.
That was, I think, the best joke in the whole
Yeah,
thing.
for sure.
No,
other-
for me it was the mechanical dick.
not just the sound effects, but all right. Then we worked into the weekend update. last week we talked about this. Brad does not like Weekend Update for some reason. I mean, he's got some kind of communistic, view of this.
He's a real spoil sport. When it comes
What can I say? I'm a real son of a bitch.
when it comes to the WU.
Now it's become a thing that when I watch Weekend Update, I immediately think, what's Brad going to think of this? So, Brad, what did you think
Brad,
of
what'd you think of Weekend Update?
I thought that it was fine for the most part.
I hate you so much. I really liked it.
What did you like about it?
I'm kind of almost with Brad a little bit. I thought it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it.
No, I liked it a lot. And I'm just talking about the jokes, not the Weekend Update.
We'll get into the
just the jokes. See, I thought Brad would like this more than usual because there was more repartee between Che and Jost, which the only time it's ever funny, according to Brad, is when they do that.
And they
did
that
a lot.
And
now
he
Brad
still
doesn't like
think
it. It's fine. So what? So come up with your next
there
reason
is
to like
nothing
Weekend
that
Update.
can make Brad Oman happy.
They didn't do it enough.
Oh, jeez.
What? They basically talked the whole time.
They really
didn't do it enough.
They really didn't, though. Go back and watch it, and they
I
didn't.
watched it twice.
The stuff that I liked the most was the dolphin joke.
Dolphin joke's great.
Was perfect.
Yeah.
I love the turn of the Full House joke because I wasn't expecting it. But otherwise, it just felt like, and honestly, this is
The Seabiscuit joke was great.
Seabiscuit was pretty good. Yeah. I think my biggest problem with Weekend Update is the same problem that I have with the cold open political satire. Is like most of the stuff that they do that's tied to current event politics, headlines from the government, that kind of thing. It's just not interesting, and like it's hard for them to make really good jokes out of it. Like I was impressed by for the first episode of this batch of 3 when Colin Jost had that whole thing that weaved in and out of several different topics and was like a great topper Weekend Update. And I just like that was a good thing, but like they don't do that often, and I feel like they're having a really hard time finding stuff that like works to hit the actual headline.
Did you not laugh at the Michael Che saying it was a Biden joke, but essentially, I hope it's not because he wants to sniff a new type of hair. I thought that was a brilliant joke.
That was a really funny joke.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good joke.
See, I like the opener. I love the entire thing where Biden becoming FDR because of the land war and the stock market plunge. Like I thought it was fine.
I mean, that's the problem. Is it's just fine.
Like I know it's an opening joke for the whole Weekend Update, and I'm like, sorry, not fine. It's clever. It's a really clever joke.
It was fine. It was fine. It was fine.
It wasn't the worst Weekend Update of the year.
No, definitely not.
All right,
that was last weekend's.
Let's get into some of the bits. Trend forecasters on the latest trends, written by Aidy, Bryant, Allison Gates, Bowen Yang, Celeste Yim, starring Aidy, Bryant, and Bowen Yang.
Next.
What?
Next.
Well, you didn't like it?
No.
I can never not like this because of how much fun they were having. I was right there for it because they were having so much fun.
Ben, have you ever seen a Saturday Night Live sketch called The Art Dealers?
The Art Dealers?
Yeah.
I mean, if I've seen it if it's been on the show,
when was it?
Sure.
It's do you guys not remember this one? So it's Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen
back in like the early aughts.
Yeah, and they did it.
So you're saying 20 years ago.
Yeah, they did it a handful of times, like maybe 5 or 6 times, where the premise is like their daughter, who is equally as weird as them, or their son, brings home their significant other, and their house is like the kind of weird, absurd, modern place where like they have the most uncomfortable chairs.
Yep.
Whenever they meet the person, they mispronounce their name. Like Natalie Portman, they brought a boyfriend. His name is Jeff. And when Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen try to pronounce it, they're like Jeff.
Oh yeah,
Jeff. This is that sketch, but made in sing-song.
No.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing. Because all they were doing is stuff like referencing modern like trends and stuff like that, and like being very like pompous about it. It's the same thing with sing-song.
I discovered that I want more Aidy, Bryant, and Bowen Yang together. I want them together.
Sure, yeah. And I admit, they had fun together, and I like seeing them break with each other.
I will say
but the premise of the sketch itself didn't work for me.
You get back in that bed that's also a jail.
I will say
I
this
like
as well.
that joke.
I was probably more with you, Brad, the first time I watched it. The second time I watched it, I thought it was funnier. I think it just is funnier when you get the premise that they're going for. I think it still needs workshopped a little bit, these two characters, but I think there's something there. Honestly, I think there's something there.
I liked it.
The only thing that was funny to me, and it's because it hit close to home, was the idea of movie posters not being decorations anymore.
So I wrote that in my notes, movie posters as decor. Who does that in 2020?
I mean, college kids still.
And my two co-hosts.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have, like, actual movie posters on my wall that don't have my quotes on them. The rest of
That's very vain.
The rest of them, the movie posters that I have on my wall are like art prints made by
Nate,
like
if you
illustrators.
go upstairs in my house right now, you'll see a bunch of. Now I have a live-in girlfriend, but you'll see framed photos, headshots of me, only me, on the wall. That's how that sounds. That's how it sounds to me.
No, I get it.
Have you ever been on a movie poster before?
I have not.
Have you had your name on a movie poster before?
Hey.
If you did, I guarantee you would frame it and put it on your fucking wall.
Listen, for our listeners,
if it was my job.
For our listeners, Brad.
What do you mean?
Listen.
All you have at Laporti's Gutter are posters with your company name on it.
Stop. Listen, for our listeners, Brad, what movie poster are you most proud of that you were on there?
The Big Sick.
I mean, the Big Sick is the one that I had the most like.
And for our listeners, this is like when people on the poster says most riveting film of the year.
Yeah, best movie of the year or like funniest movie in decades.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna guess. You can cut all this out if you want to, but I'm gonna guess. I think that the one you get the most attention for was the Big Sick one, but I think your favorite one is They Came Together.
So you're partially right. I do love that They Came Together one, because that one was on the poster.
I don't think I
that
know
one
that
was
one.
on it's on the Blu-ray cover.
Did you watch that movie, by the way?
Well, who's it with?
Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd. It's like a parody of romantic comedies.
It's David Wayne.
I didn't see it. Is it great?
Yeah, you put it on your list, man,
So
for
funny,
sure.
absurd. Like it's like Airplane for romantic comedies.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
it's
I'll
so
watch
out there.
And it's not like stupid epic movie.
Yeah.
No,
It is. It's good.
doing it the
parody.
fucking right way.
Good parody. But no, the Big Sick. I think I was so proud of because it got like the most exposure. Like
Sure.
it was on
Great
the poster.
film, by the
It was
way.
in the trailer. It's on the Blu-ray. I think it's on the Blu-ray. It was on international posters.
Yeah.
So, like someone saw it in Spain and sent me a picture of a bus stop. Somebody, one of my friends, saw it in Australia and then sent me another poster that had my quote on it from Australia. It was on the side of
And it's a great
buses.
film. I
And
really
so,
like that film.
Yeah, I love that movie. I think the one that I am most proud of because of the prestige that came with it was I have a quote on a movie called oh my god, I'm totally
Wow.
Ben-Hur.
so many movies
Ben-Hur.
now.
Oh my god, the one I'm most proud of.
Casablanca.
This is like Nate. Which one's your favorite child?
I got so
You're
caught
like,
up.
it's a Roscoe. Roscoe? Nah, that doesn't sound right.
No, Roscoe's not one of my kids. I don't think. Anyway, it's maybe Billy.
Paul
Billy?
F. Tompkins? No, that's a famous comedian. That's not one of my children.
This is all going to get cut out now.
He's the one editing.
I know. The one that I'm most proud of is Indignation. It's a movie that I saw at Sundance. Logan Lerman is in it. It's based on a book. But like, it's so. Oftentimes, sites like ours, our quotes will end up on posters and trailers and stuff like that, because like those a lot of indie movies need as much praise as possible to like appeal to the public, and so it's more likely that our stuff will get grabbed. Because otherwise, if they're big awards dramas, big blockbusters, they'll go with a lot of the bigger outlets. You know, like
Roper, yeah.
Peter Travers at Rolling Stone is almost always has a quote,
yeah.
someone like
Yeah.
that, and so I was really proud because for Indignation. One of my quotes about the movie was on the poster with the New York Times and like upscale publications. I was like, oh yeah, I'm really happy about that because like it stood out and like
Yep.
it was up there with like
You're
the
standing
real
with the
prestigious
giants.
reviewers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, there was a second.
That was a great section of the podcast for nobody.
Hey, that's it. You know what? Ben's mom listens to this. She's gonna love that.
She is going to love that. She's like, which one's Brad?
All right. So the next bit in Weekend Update, Peyton Manning came back. Peyton Manning, one of my favorite hosts of SNL. I love when Peyton Manning hosts. I don't know if you do, Brad. I know you're not a sports ball guy.
Even not as a sports guy, I love when Peyton Manning hosts because he is one of the few sports figures who can host
his
and do it
comedic
well.
timing is
He's
so good.
He's a comedian. I
mean,
mean,
he is.
he's-
I don't know if you've watched.
I won't quite go that far.
No, watch his ESPN
Okay.
stuff, like on his games. Ben, have you watched any of that stuff?
no, what I'm referring to is like he hosts SNL better than some actual comedians.
Oh, sure.
He's a comedian.
he
can do it.
I think part of his natural comedic ability comes from the fact that he's kind of a goober.
He's very much a goober. If you watch
So-
his, like I said, him and his brother are doing these ESPN where they commentate over the ESPN games on Monday nights. If you ever watch them, him and his brother, obviously his brother's also a famous football player,
Gilbert
Brad.
Manning.
But Eli, and it's some
He
of
had
the
to correct me.
It's some of the funniest stuff on TV right now.
Did they-
are
they had-
so funny together.
Yeah, we won't get into that. I was just going to keep going. But I will say, watching Peyton on SNL, he's a guy that is not nervous to do that because of his media exposure.
Yep.
and he's
Yeah, but but that's not entirely it though.
I'm not done.
That's not entirely it.
Let Ben talk.
I'm not done.
That's not entirely it.
Oh my God. I do think that being obviously first and foremost a professional athlete under that kind of scrutiny, right?
Yeah.
But when you go on TV, it's a different type of pressure. He's had enough of a career where he was constantly been in the media, and he showed himself to be this affable, really talented, smart, funny guy, and that has translated to TV as well. His nerves have not come across at all, and he's able to use that kind of personality that he has with the media and done that on SNL.
And they've had
other
other athletes that have hosted, for instance,
that have been terrible.
Other funny athletes. Charles Barkley's a hoot. He's really funny, right? Terrible.
He's still reading off the cards like an idiot.
Yeah, he's not a good host though, right?
Yeah, some of his comedy comes from the fact that he's like so clumsy about it that like you can't help but laugh at that too. But like I think that's kind of part of it. But like there have been so many athletes who have had just as much exposure as Peyton Manning has, Eli Manning included. And Eli Manning wasn't that great of a host when he did it. You know,
he wasn't.
And so like there's something that Peyton has where he does have a natural ability, but like
Tom Brady hosted, right?
Yeah.
I thought about now that he's retired if they're going to ask him to host
because I'm
again.
like I watched the Tom Brady episode of SNL and I don't remember him being anything more than fine.
Yeah.
But he's the exact same person as far as being able to deal with the media. And so you're right. There is something where Peyton Manning has another level to him as far as the charisma and maybe gooberishness, you know.
Yeah.
But a general, sense of humor.
You guys know this. We all know this. Comedic timing is a thing, right? Some people get it, some people don't. Peyton Manning gets it. He gets the joke.
Really does know when.
He gets the joke.
I really want to know how this bit came together.
So let's talk about it. I loved this bit so much.
I loved it.
It came out of nowhere, and I was like, what is Peyton Manning
happy
do here?
though,
and then what it was of him gushing about Emily in Paris. It's like, how does this even come about?
I loved it so
did
much.
they write it and they're like, let's see what athlete we can maybe get to do, like some NFL player do this?
It was written by Megan Callahan-Shaw, Colin Jost, and Josh Patton. So that's all I know about it.
Yeah.
But a fresh take on feminism. Finally, it was such a great line. It was just so, especially because again, Peyton Manning's in a meathead world, right? He is. He's an athlete talking to athletes in an ESPN world, and having him,
Sucklet Blur,
wearing the hat. It was a great setup. It's not uncommon for people that, for a comedy bit where somebody talks about something that's out of their element, and that happens.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's funny. It's not. Sometimes it's not. He though is just so good at it. I loved every minute of this.
Hints
really
of like
good.
Chance the Rapper's first appearance covering hockey.
Yep.
Right,
Yeah.
where it's like that level vibe to it, where he was so comfortable talking about it. Yeah, I guess that's hockey, whatever. And it's almost like Peyton Manning took that about the NFL. Yeah, whatever's going on over the NFL, I don't care, because Emily in Paris. Like, it's a good mixture of that. I loved it. Oh, obviously. And then whoever the hell described or drew up that X's and O's thing and had that idea for that bit, I want to kiss them on the mouth. That X's and O's thing,
you want to kiss everyone on the mouth.
Well, it's true. Especially when he was like, the X's da-da-da, and we all know about the That's such a good delivery.
And I will tell you too, my girlfriend Brittany watches Emily in Paris, and she said it's even funnier if you know
watch
the show.
Oh, I bet.
Oh,
After I thought I need Peyton Manning to host again. That's what I thought.
Oh, absolutely. I also thought because I know how much of a stickler Peyton Manning was for like game film and stuff and preparing.
Yeah.
I want to know if they got to him on Wednesday, did he watch all of Emily in Paris season 2 just to prepare for the role?
He certainly knew his bit. He certainly knew he nailed his jokes.
Oh,
there wasn't one he didn't get.
I can't give him any more praise. It was almost perfect. He put one tiny line at the end, but other than that,
if it were a proper sketch, it would have been my favorite of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
because I said that to Bailey. I was like, "This is probably my favorite of the night," but the guys don't like it when I do that.
I'm okay with it. Brad doesn't like it, but Brad doesn't like anything.
Yeah, you can't pick it.
All right. Next was back to the in-person sketches. Beauty and the Beast, The Mirror, written by Dan Bulla, Jake Nordwin, and Ben Silva. I'll say this: some great costumes.
Two quick questions about this sketch.
Is that your comment about this sketch?
Some great costumes.
Okay, allow me to say get bent, because I thought the sketch was very funny.
Okay, two questions I had.
I thought it was fine.
The Heidi, or not Heidi, sorry, Chloe Fineman, just hysterically laughing in the middle because she didn't think anything was on her.
I didn't
was
know.
so weird.
I didn't know if she was I see. Thank you for bringing that up because I don't know if that was part of it.
Nope.
Or if she was really out of character.
I think that she didn't realize they were going to cut back to them so quick, and she was laughing at Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
That, and then number 2, Pete Davidson going full beast mode for the one sentence, and then
And
be
that's
like, I'm Pete Davidson.
and that's
what the fuck?
But I actually love that because it did feel like a conscious choice. It didn't feel like him being lazy.
No, I know.
It felt like him being so caught off guard and caught up in the thing. Like he just totally dropped his manly beast facade. He's like, oh no, I see what's going on here.
So
I did like this sketch. I'm not gonna lie. I did like it.
You
I just
son of
didn't
a
love it.
bitch.
I like the idea that it was. I don't know that it was planned out at all by Pete Davidson or the writing staff, but the idea that once let's say it's in character, once the idea that the beast, who is the beast, and he's talking like this, once he realizes what's going on in the mirror, he just drops his own like I normally act like this, but oh my god, that's real.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the beast though doing that,
Yeah.
not Pete Davidson. Like I think
That's what I mean. It's
so
like,
I'm like, is that or is it just
no.
Pete Davidson just being Pete Davidson?
lazy?
No, I
Yeah.
think it's a character choice, and I think it's a comedic choice.
And so then I'm like, yes, this is. I'm here for that.
That's what
'cause
it felt like to
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
No, that whole Pete Willem Dafoe kind of. I know where he's going here.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't watch this,
And he's
or maybe
not.
we should.
He's
Yeah.
not thinking about you at all. And if he is, we have a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
whole other problem.
No, that was good. It was very good.
And Willem Dafoe doing a legit
Just-
French accent and just being
Crazy,
weird
yes.
as hell.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it was
loved
probably
it.
my favorite Willem sketch in this because he was so odd. He was just so perfectly.
All the wonderful things with my ass.
He's like, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
With the horse.
And
That's
then,
awesome.
What I wanted in this sketch was Kyle Mooney to be Chip, the little,
Well, good news. I've got good news
Yeah,
for you.
hold on. Did you not see the end of the sketch?
Here's the thing: is I wanted him to be Chip and not have a single line. He just had to get in the character just for the sketch and
That's
never
great.
have a line. But so you really like this one, huh? Brian?
Yeah, I thought it was really funny. I liked that a lot.
It was good. Even though Chloe Feynman laughing hysterically, it really threw me out of it for a second. But yeah, no, it was fun.
You like Chloe Feynman now?
Oh no, she's still a terrible Scientologist that it will burn in hell forever. But I just feel like no, she's fine.
All right, the next was a pre-tape. Hey, congrats to the Please Don't Destroy guys. You guys got your sketch, your pre-tape, actually in the episode.
It wasn't cut for time.
But I will say, not so congrats. This was probably their worst one yet.
Oh, I love this one. Are you kidding me?
I didn't love this one.
Yeah.
I
loved
also didn't hate it though. I thought it was. I thought it was very good.
They could do no wrong, in my opinion. They are just they comedically. They're where I'm at. I just love it. I love it.
For the most part, I still believe that. But for me, this was the sketch where the premise wasn't strong enough that it kept me from noticing the strings that keep Please Don't Destroy funny. Because this one doesn't work quite as well if you don't have their quick cuts. It doesn't work as well if you don't have their typical thing of like repeating things incredulously when someone says something ridiculous. That's a big part of their shtick. It didn't work as well for me this time because the premise,
you're a Jacob.
the premise of this,
Such a Jacob.
the premise of this kid just didn't feel like.
Did you not think the kid was great though?
He was good.
was great.
He was giving it his all, but like I don't. There was just something about this one that like he just didn't. It didn't hit for me.
I don't know. It was silly. I loved it. I love the idea of again, like one of them getting new. Anytime you get one of your friend groups gets a new friend, everyone gets kind of weird about why are you hanging out with this guy, right? And especially if you have a small friend group. But the idea that this kid is 10, I just thought it was hilarious.
Wait, is that where I'll be a hero, baby? Was that the song that was playing when he gives him the Heimlich?
I don't think so. No, it's
It's they say that a hero can say the Nickelback, the Chad Kroger song,
Yeah, which I thought was
different
from
hero
Spider-Man
song.
2,
starring Willem Dafoe.
or is the first Spider-Man?
kudos, by the way, for saying it's a Chad Kroger song, not a Nickelback song. Because you are right.
because it is Chad Kroger by himself featuring somebody.
Wow.
else.
Cool.
So you didn't like this?
No. It was not my favorite. Please Don't Destroy video.
Far from my favorite. Please Don't Destroy.
But I
video.
still laughed. I still liked it a lot.
Okay,
I just didn't love
Did you
it.
loll or just like giggle?
I think that.
Did you rafflecopter?
Oh boy! Wow. I see your points about the strings that are holding it together.
Yeah.
I still don't think that it doesn't take the shine off for me at all. Like I still think
Here's the
that
thing.
it's really fun.
And I don't mean this in an insulting way because
I'm going to receive it as such. But go ahead.
it's not for you.
Okay.
This felt like a half-baked Lonely Island sketch rather than a Please Don't Destroy sketch.
No.
No, I don't agree.
Disagree.
with that.
I'm correct.
Okay,
Let's
no.
move on.
All right. The next was a live sketch, Good Morning Columbus, written by Streeter Seidel, Will Steven, host of a morning show, interview the author of a self-help book.
So
What'd you guys think?
why not go? Well, go ahead, Brad. No, nothing.
I want to get this out of the way.
Wow. Okay. You cannot perform self-fellatio.
This sketch is very funny, and I liked it a lot. But I can't help but point out the fact that the premise makes no sense whatsoever. Because the idea of flubbing the name of the book and having this misunderstanding that lasts throughout the entire sketch is predicated on the fact that Bowen Yang, as the newscaster, misspeaks while reading the teleprompter. That is not something that would result in the graphics
That's exactly
of the
what
rest
I
of the
thought.
newscast
But that's not how
being
it
messed
works.
up because they
That's
don't
not how
make those
news works.
graphics based on what the newscaster says.
That's
Those
what
are-
you have a problem
No,
with?
honestly,
The
I thought the same thing. Those graphics are
Logistically,
made way before the show
yeah,
starts.
exactly. Thank you. Logistically, I had a problem with that. It did not keep me from enjoying the sketch, which I still thought was very, very funny.
All right, that I didn't even think about that at all. I was like, all right, this is off the rails. The question I had is, why didn't they go bigger? Like, I thought that they would have done
Like with their innuendo, or with
somebody
the,
would have either with that or one of the newscasters would have gotten a little bit more aggressive about, like, we got to take this down, or that Mikey Days' character would finally get in on it, like, come on, guys. Like, usually there will be some escalation, and it was very much just the same thing over and over again. And for that reason, I thought it went on too long.
Yeah, I thought the funniest thing was the Andrew Dismuke's line. No, I want to see where this goes, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I thought. Right, it's an easy sketch.
Sure.
Right, it's an easy sketch to get to people to laugh because you're using the
Double
innuendo.
entendre, yeah, innuendo.
Exactly. I'm kind of with Brad in that, like, I think there was some setup there that just didn't make sense, and I'm with you, Ben, in that I thought there was a lot of missing jokes there. Like,
Yeah.
I just. It was okay. It was fine.
It's okay to do a one-note premise as long as you either make it insane by the end or you have a lot of different takes on it. And it was the same take over and over, which is kind of a fault of SNL sometimes.
And also, I think, to me, too, the other thing, and this kind of speaks to the same kind of thing where I had an issue with the dog show sketch, is that this kind of sketch has been done better with the likes of Colonel Angus and the Cork Soakers.
Yep.
You know, and this is a similar kind of thing, just not quite done so eloquently.
I even think that even when Robert De Niro he was like the head of the TSA or whatever, he was talking about the guys that blew up the airplane, and he was, you leak my deek. You sook my deek.
I forgot about that.
That was still even better than this. This is an old standby for SNL, and it's not one of the better ones
It's
they've done.
kind of that old Abbott and Costello where, like, oh, they're really not saying this thing, they're saying these things.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a fairly
Was it a skit?
No, it was a sketch, but it's a fairly common comedy trope that was fine. But it just, I've seen these tropes done better.
Yeah.
So it was fine. All right. Next was Office Song, written by Allison Gates and Ken Sublett. I want to know.
I'm already laughing.
Was the cast actually making those noises, do you think?
If they weren't, they did such a good
Yeah, no,
job
they were.
being synced up to the
Did you think the
music.
same thing, though, where I'm like, oh, my word, I think they're actually playing this,
Yeah.
and that would be a hard...
That's a hard thing to do rhythmically like that, and and so I don't know if they had done it so much that they were so good at hitting it on time.
I guarantee you, they just sat for hours and did it.
Yeah.
They had to have.
Because I was watching, I'm like, I don't think every as a drummer, I'm like, everyone that they're supposed to hit, they were hitting.
It was good. Now there was like a back channel to it too, like a back audio, but like they were definitely hitting. Melissa Villanueva was playing that that jar of water or whatever. They were doing it for sure.
And Heidi was singing Zupita Zupita.
Oh my God! So it also the premise of they explained Willem Dafoe being old and back at it,
and being
very,
a temp,
very succinctly, immediately. Like they did a great job of shoehorning that in, and it made sense. So I was
that is
24
happening, right? That
pizzas?
is happening in the
of course.
economy, especially now.
But like his small screw up with the 24 pizzas, and they're like, that's fine. And I mean, but then when Heidi Gardner said, what did you think was going to happen? Were you just going to keep throwing another chair? And he goes,
every 8 bars?
Yes. And then it goes, if it made a good sound.
Willem Dafoe's
loved it.
face after throwing the chair. Was
just like a
just so good.
lost boy, like,
Yes!
whoa. Such an innocent, like, oh no, what have I done?
I thought I was doing my part.
Yeah.
He knocks her out of the window at the end, and I really laughed at that because she went for it out that window.
Yeah. Oh, such a good pratfall.
Oh,
Like a
good
Chris
for you.
Farley level pratfall.
It was an incredible pratfall.
I just loved the sketch so much, and like,
I agree.
it takes a minute and a half for them to get to what makes the sketch funny.
Yeah.
They do all this elaborate setup, and like they do this fun song, and I'm like, where's this going? And then that crash of the chair and
Oh, my
everything,
God.
it is perfect.
Yeah.
But the nice thing about it is it does take a minute and a half, but they're giving you a little bit of comedy beforehand. Punky Johnson was funny with her little lines, the zoopita zoopita zow.
Oh,
kind
that
of
cracked
funny.
me up,
So
yeah.
they were building you up with some comedic
This
things.
is
It didn't
a
take that
great
long.
crescendo
Yeah,
sketch.
but it
Yeah.
just it kept on getting funnier, and I really love this sketch.
Remember when I was new and I called you daddy?
And I just love too that they do a next day, and like they're trying to like train him to like, no, this is how you do a cool song.
Yeah,
Like
that-
that's what they're concerned
that
about.
was so funny to me because I'm like, they're gonna cut back and it's gonna be the thing again, and they went right back into the fucking song,
Yeah.
and I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Great sketch.
I'm glad we
Great
all agreed
sketch.
on that one.
Great
That was a
sketch.
great
And the
sketch.
10-1 sketch, right?
And
Yeah,
the 10-1,
yeah, which is just great.
The Please Don't Destroy guys didn't get the 10-1 sketch, so kudos to
No,
them.
the cut for time sketch.
I know, but when they actually make it into the show, I feel like
like they
this
tacked on at the end?
This is the best they've ever
Well,
done.
no, like a lot of times it's because they're like, how much time do we have? Okay, that'll fit there.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, then we did have a cut for time sketch. If I remember right,
Was that the last sketch of the night?
that
The
was
Office song?
Office Song was the last sketch. We had one cut for time sketch. You can go onto the YouTube channel and find it. The SNL YouTube channel. I think if Brad was, I think I remember him saying favorite sketch of the night is this is Brad's favorite, written by Alex English, Jack Norblin, and Ben Silva. Ben Konowitz, Brad's favorite. Is it your favorite of the night?
No, this one is one of the times where we always say they're not cut for quality; they're cut for time. This could have been
awful.
cut for quality. It was really terrible. Nice jail. I get the premise. It could have been good. Again, it's Willem Dafoe's timing is just atrocious in this thing. So, maybe they just realize, hey, he can't really carry a whole sketch by himself, which is what this is, and that's fine. He's not expected to.
Yeah.
But man, it was really rough to watch.
And these are from the dress rehearsal, right?
Yeah.
So
It was
but you
whatever.
should still be performing. Like,
And
they
he
s-
was.
They still have an audience.
He was
so
trying so hard.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you should still do better than
This
what
was
Willem Dafoe
his
did in
A
this.
game was here, and he was trying very hard. Cutting from a different camera over to here to read those cue cards to go back there, that's just not his strong suit, clearly, and it really showed. A couple of bright spots for me personally about it, when they were, of course, because I have an escape room, so when he said if you want to do an escape room but you don't like puzzles, so for a reason to stay in nice jail because it doesn't count. So the premise is very good. I like the premise. The execution was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, I thought it could have been funnier if Willem Dafoe wasn't.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
the timing was rough. I think that if it
By the
would
way,
have been funny
listeners,
with
Brad
Willem.
didn't like this one. I was just teasing.
Yeah, no, it would have been funny with Willem Dafoe if his timing was better. But it really did feel like
It was rough.
he wasn't fully like prepared to do what he needed to do for that sketch. And part of it does seem like maybe he treated dress rehearsal like rehearsal rather than like a show.
Listen, we weren't there, right?
Yeah.
We know how the show works. If they said, you know what we're going to do actually for dress, that one that we almost worked all the way through,
Yeah.
we're going to make sure that we're going to actually try
Yeah.
that one instead.
Yep.
And I feel like
that's
that
true.
was probably more what happened.
And I'm
there.
sure occasionally they hit lighting and
Sure.
everything works, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
But
hey,
this just
let's
wasn't
throw
one of those.
this in.
And it's
Yep.
fine, whatever.
I did like the constant vampire head ass.
Yeah.
joke,
If he
though.
would have been better
Yeah.
at doing it, sure, yeah. But yeah, I was as soon as
Yeah.
he said the first time,
The
it
way
cuts back
Punky
to him.
Johnson did it was
his
better
hair.
than the way that
Yeah.
he did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she's, a professional sketch cast member. I get it.
Yeah. No, kudos to her, by the way. Finally made her way back into the show after I feel like we didn't see her much. the
Well,
last,
so
you know.
Punky Johnson, Melissa Villasenor,
Mm-hmm.
people that we've been saying haven't gotten a lot of screen time, they got some time, and some did better with it than others.
So we'll do this first. Who was your MVP of this episode then?
MVP of this episode, I didn't pick one out ahead of time. I probably should have. Brad, why don't you do yours first?
So I will say I found it really hard to pick an MVP this episode
did too.
because I felt like everything was so evenly distributed among the ensemble, and it really made great use of how big the cast was this time. Because there was not a person who had like a breakout thing where they were like in 2 or 3 of the best sketches and they were like the big funny part of it. So I ended up giving it to Heidi Gardner. because I thought that she was really funny as the mom in Tenant Meeting, and Office Song was what sealed it for me because she was just so goofy and weird in that
She
one.
committed to it,
and
yeah.
as soon as she got mad and screamed about the chair, and then her Pratt fell out the window, that was like, yeah, I was like, I feel like it goes to Heidi Gardner this week.
See, when I was watching the episode, I did think about Chris Redd because I did like the rap song. I did like him in the Tenant Meeting.
If I liked the rap song, I would have given it to Chris
Yeah,
Redd.
so I think that I mean, you make a strong case for Heidi though, but I'm not going to steal yours because I think that's.
You can.
No, I think that's a strong case, but I think I'll still go with Chris Redd because I did really enjoy the song a lot.
Those were the two I was debating as well. I tend to like Heidi Gardner a lot, even when she does, I think, things that other people don't like. Like I said, she is every mom I was afraid of in high school. I'm
just beyond attracted to her. I just think
Are you really?
She's just right up my alley. I just like that. She's hilarious.
Well, you also like to get yelled at.
That is my kink. No, I just think like of all of the female cast members on the show, like I just find her beyond lovely. I just think she's fantastic, a wonderful comedian, but also just drop dead gorgeous in my opinion.
And
Which no one asked for. Hey, you know what I like? I like Heidi Gardner.
Let me tell you about why I'm aroused when I see Heidi Gardner in an SNL sketch.
Listen, I take Nugenics and I watch Heidi Gardner all around. And I'm sorry, Heidi. I'm
but anyway,
sorry.
I gave it to Chris Redd, but I think a good case could be made for Heidi Gardner there as well. Let's do.
I will say that Aristotle Atari is a very handsome man.
He is.
So maybe.
And you got his name right.
Yeah, I'm really proud of you.
I actually was
You've grown
talking
lot.
a little bit about that with Bailey, and I told her I was like, I feel like it's shitty to have an SNL podcast and not. I was doing it as a joke, but
Yeah.
like now I'm like,
Brad and I were talking about that,
It's James Austin Johnson. It's Aristotle Atari. I know their names. I was just joking around. Shara Shoemaker. She's great.
we'll do sketch of the night, and then we'll just review the whole episode
Yes.
with Willem Dafoe. All right, sketch of the night. What did you think?
We just did that.
Oh, I think we all agree. Sketch of the night is the song.
No, we didn't do.
Oh,
sketch
did we
of the night.
not?
We just did cast member.
Oh,
MVP.
that's right.
Yeah.
You made a joke about me.
Yep.
My
Yep.
Office Song was mine.
Yeah, Office song. Well, I mean Peyton Manning, but Office song.
I was going to say Peyton Manning, but
Brad doesn't like us to do that.
There's not. It's not a sketch. It's not a sketch in this way the other ones are.
You know what? Mine's Peyton Manning on a weekend update with
Well,
the Emily in Paris.
All right, so Ben didn't have one this year.
This
I-
year?
I would say Office Song, but for me, very close was Now I'm Up, just because I love the premise of it. I really did.
That was in the running for me, actually. I was
I
talking to
really-
Bailey about that. I love that song.
Nah.
All right, review the whole episode. Willem Dafoe. Overall, what'd you guys think?
I thought it was a very horny episode.
I felt the same.
To the,
way.
I actually made that my headline.
There's
I
a
was
lot
like,
of sexual jokes.
yeah, I was like, my headline was like, Willem Dafoe brings his wild eyes to a surprisingly horny Saturday Night Live.
It's true.
Because there was like 3 things that were all about like weird sex stuff and boners and everything.
It was a very sensual episode, and somebody's clearly mad at their friend's dog. Because that was
Yeah.
in the sketch.
Oh,
with the dog.
see, Chris Redd again. So the line of the night to me was like, I have to take him to the veterinarian 3 times a week to have it lubed up and put back in.
Yeah.
And I say that 3 times. I say that a lot, and I shouldn't. Or what was the line? It's like I have to say that all the time, and I don't like.
yeah, I think.
Oh
Yeah.
I don't like saying that,
Yeah.
and I have to say it a lot.
Yeah, essentially, I don't like to say that, but I have to say that.
That's the best line of the night, in my opinion. It was so funny.
But yeah, otherwise, I thought the episode was pretty good, not great.
I'm. It's so hard to say this because I don't want anybody to confuse my love for Willem Dafoe, which goes deep.
I know.
I didn't think he was a great host.
No,
And it's not that he's
I think he
bad.
was fine. I think he was
it's
fine,
not that
but
he's
not
bad
great.
either because he threw himself into this and
Yep.
he was clearly having fun.
Yep.
They're
There's
just
got to be a German word for this. Because there's a German word for everything. It's the feeling where I liked him so much, and it could have been better without him, but I don't want to replace him.
No.
oh, Rolfenskaiser.
No.
You know?
I loved how much he committed to this. He was
Exactly.
having fun,
yeah,
right?
it's the thing where
It
it's
was
like
perfect, but I wanted to replace him.
yeah, so like there are actors out there who are great and they're so willing to have fun on SNL,
Yep.
but they're just not good when it comes to live sketch comedy, and it can make or break an episode. And it didn't really break this episode.
Nope.
It just made
Not in the way that Daniel Craig will break an episode.
some things that just didn't land as firmly as they could have in the hands of a more skilled sketch performer or an actor who like is on the level of Willem Dafoe, but also easily fits into something like this, like an Adam Driver.
Oh,
or,
I'm sorry, no, a Christopher Walken.
Or a Ryan Gosling.
And so Christopher Walken in the early 2000s, switch him into this episode.
Yeah.
It's your favorite episode ever.
Yeah.
Imagine him in the Beauty of the Beast thing.
Yep.
Imagine him as Nice Hotel or a Nice Jail. Just all of those things
Because
replacing.
there were some jokes that were certainly left out
It would have been
because
perfect.
they just didn't hit the mark,
Yeah.
right?
and Christopher
it could've been a
Walken
little
can
bit
do
better.
timing better than most comedic actors. Like he's incredible.
But I'm also not mad that they had
No,
Willem Dafoe
exactly,
host, you know?
exactly.
No, it was his first episode ever hosting, which is crazy for somebody of his,
Stature.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So,
He should play the Joker. Has anybody ever told him that?
certainly not my favorite episode. There were some decent sketches in there. I don't know if any of them would make a run for my favorite sketch of the season, but it was.
I thought it was above average. I thought it was better than.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I liked it better than a couple this year for sure.
Did you like it better than the Kim Kardashian episode?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I liked
for
it.
sure.
I think I liked it better than Owen Wilson. I liked it better than Simu. No, not better than Simu Liu, but better than
Jonathan
Majors.
Yeah. Again, Jonathan Majors, I was a little disappointed in because again, I love him as an actor, and I didn't think his episode was.
I think this episode
you were
was
wrong
better
about that one, though.
I think this one's better than that one.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either. I
Yeah.
feel like they're probably right on par.
No, you're wrong. You're both wrong.
All
It's
right,
okay.
so we're going to be on a break for a little while, but we're thinking about doing an episode in between this because the NBC wants to do the quote-unquote Olympics as if people are going to watch that.
Wherever those are held.
So SNL's on a break
China.
until when, Brad?
Oh, that
What?
was weird.
SNL's on a break until when?
February 26th, they'll be back with John Mulaney hosting again. And
Five Timers Club.
LCD Sound System as the musical guest.
But
CNC Music Factory was booked.
Yep, CNC Music Factory.
well, we've talked about maybe doing an episode in between here, checking in with everyone and figuring out what we're going to do there, and I'm sure we'll do that. But
I personally feel like we should just do our favorite sketches of the year so far, but that's just me.
There's not enough episodes so far to make that interesting.
Brad
There have
never
been
wants to
10.
do- Brad never. He shoots our ideas down all the time.
I know.
Knows that.
We do like a top 5 because there's been
You wanna
40,
do that?
40 sketches.
You,
just me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I think we should do something that's like either like some kind of flashback thing
We'll figure it
just
out.
some kind of like general discussion. Like we talked about like just watching like an hour worth of sketches on Peacock or something like that, and like
We'll
'cause
figure it
I think
out.
it'll get the juices flowing of just
Brad
like
won't be here next week, but in 2 weeks we'll get an episode.
like
to
digging
you.
into like our SNL memories and like the stuff we like
there we go.
that's
There we
old
go.
and like
Yep, that's a good idea. All right. Anyway, in 2 weeks we'll be back for another episode, and then 2 weeks after that we'll be back, hopefully with a new episode from SNL with John Mulaney. Brad, where can people find you?
always on slashfilm.com writing about movies and TV. I do written reviews of SNL the Sunday after every live show. You can also find me on Twitter at Ethan_Anderton. That's my pen name. The Slash Film Daily podcast that I appear on a couple times a week. Just recently was on there talking about some of my favorite movies that I saw for the 2022 virtual Sundance
Do you ever
Film
mention
Festival.
Brad and I, or Ben and I?
I've mentioned the podcast on there before. And
That's a no.
I think I've said your names, maybe like just in passing,
Yeah, that's a no.
just like
Nate, where can people find you?
I'm on the Twitters, Nate Loucks, because I don't have to fake my name. And then
it's a gift, really.
And then I'm on the other things too. You can find me on LinkedIn. And then I host a local politics podcast that maybe 100 people listen to, but
And probably funnier than some of SNL's political satire.
Honestly, probably.
All right, Benny, where can people find you, bud?
Oh, just living my best life, Nate.
Hey, do us a favor. Share these podcasts. Again, if you know anybody that loves SNL, share it with them. We'd love to continue to grow this. Like our stuff, share it on your social media page, subscribe, rate. It all helps us, and again,
We hope you really like it. We like
we
doing this for you. We've gotten some good feedback that people are enjoying the episodes. We don't have a ton of listeners, obviously, but the people that do listen are having a good time. So we hope that you can introduce this to one of your friends that might also like it.
It's just fun to be in a community with people that love sketch comedy
Oh,
and
God.
SNL. So.
Love it so much.
All right. Well, hey, we'll be back in 2 weeks or so. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Bye-bye.